very night. Welcome to the Jonathan Ross Show. Let's start, as we always do, by taking a peek in my green room and showing you who's on the programme. First up, he's one of the country's finest writers, actors and comedy performers. It's Mr. Matt Lucas, ladies and gentlemen. I love Matt. Great to have you here. It's nice to be here. He is. We've also got an iconic figure in British TV comedy. It's the absolutely fabulous creator of Absolutely Fabulous, Jennifer Saunders. Let's keep it going. Everyone's giving us 2 thumbs up. We also have one of the hottest new stand-ups on the comedy scene. He's fantastically funny. You're going to love him. It's Ramesh Ranganathan. Come on, let's get some excitement going. That's it. That's it. And we have the man who plays Cupid for the nation. He brings together more couples than Tinder. It is... It is Mr. Paddy McGuinness, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Paddy. How are you? Only one from you. Only one from. OK. We've all heard, I'm sure you've all heard stories about people who turn up in the A&E department of the local hospital and somehow they've got stuck to a vacuum cleaner. And when I say people, I mean men. And when I say stuck to, I mean in a vacuum cleaner. Okay, but I'm telling you this because, and this is a true story, there was a woman in South Korea has been attacked while she was sleeping by her vacuum cleaner. She's got one of those automatic robot vacuum cleaners that do the room. She fell asleep on the floor. She was having a nap. This is what happened. It tried to suck her up. Look at that. It's got all her hair. All of her long hair is caught in the machine now. Now, the lesson we learn from this is, if you go shopping and a Henry Hoover looks like this, don't buy it. Don't buy that one. But you'll be pleased to hear the woman escaped unharmed. There she is. You can see her again. She had all her hair stuck in it, and they managed to get her out safe and sound, which is lucky because she was really Dyson with death right there. So you see... Yes, I think that... Come on. You're turning into Bruce Forsyth. Just come on, come on. Yes. Finally, I have to relay the sad news that one of the world's most famous chocolatiers, manufacturers of chocolate, has died. You might have seen this in the paper. But I, for one, would like to say thank you to the inventor of Ferrero Rocher, because he's gone now. He gave me decades of problematic pronunciation, many easy punchlines. I mean, I just find it strange they didn't ask me to speak at his funeral, because I would have just like to have said Michael Ferraro, W.I.P. That's all I like to say. OK. Let's get my first guest out. He's one half of Little Britain. He was one half of Come Fly With Me. He knocked them dead on stage in Les Mis. He's appeared in movies alongside stars like Johnny Depp and Nicole Kidman. Please welcome the one and only Matt Lucas, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Matt, it is lovely to see you.
It's very nice to be here. It's been a long time.
Well, because you've moved out of the country. You live in America now, don't you?
I do, yes.
Whereabouts in America?
I live in California, in West Hollywood.
And that move was, what, for work or just for a change?
Oh, well, I had some sad things in my life, so I thought I'd go and have a fresh start. So it's lovely, very peaceful. And I write there, and I've got a lovely garden and my dogs, and it's lovely, yeah.
Do you grow stuff in the garden?
I do. I grow lots of citrus fruit.
Wow.
Yes, it's not interesting, but I do.
No.
I do. I grow satsumas, lemons, limes, key limes.
The list hasn't made it any more interesting.
No, it hasn't.
But... the whole citrus family?
Yes.
What do you miss about being over here? Do you miss anything about the UK, about not living here anymore?
I miss the telly, to be honest. But because I've done well for myself, I actually employ a man. I fly him over and he watches stuff, and then he flies back and tells me what happened.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, he says you're doing very well.
So is that today? He's really up to date?
Yeah, okay. I'll fly him back. M&S ready meals, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
People just sort of punching me and having a go at me for not doing more Little Britain.
So I imagine you did get a bit of that, because that show was super popular. And when you end something, for whatever reason, people do miss it. They want more of that kind of thing. So I suppose you did get some of that for real.
Yes, and it's an interesting one. And I'm not saying we'd never do any more, but I suppose the fear is that if you did do it, it just wouldn't be the same. And I've always admired ABBA, who never got back together, you see.
Yeah, never did.
And never... Well, we might get back together, but we might do something else. That's the thing. I wonder whether... Would it be as funny? I don't know. You'd have to do Vicky Pollard as an adult, wouldn't you? She'd be a grandmother with 56 grandkids, wouldn't she?
But I mean, look, I loved a load of the characters. Vicky Pollard was up there for everyone, I think, but
Well, she was your type, really, let's be honest. Come on. No, actually...
I'm not going to answer for fear it would incriminate me.
You once said you had a bit of a thing for Bubbles, you once told me.
Well, yeah, I did like Bubbles, because Bubbles was kind of...
Talking of Ferrero Rocher,
There was a lot of her, and she was a sexually active woman.
She was a man in a woman's outfit,
We have a clip of Bubbles, in case you want to be reminded. This is a clip which, frankly, I'm very jealous of Ronnie Corbett right here. Check this out.
Just bloody leave. Language, Timothy. Oh, you're so sexy. Everything about you so sexy. You don't even know what you've got. Mr. Ronnie Corbett. Oh, yeah. And what can hot just a little and meet in the middle. Let go just a little bit more. Give me just a little bit more.
Monsieur, the police be here in 5 minutes.
Could they make it 10?
Good old David. Yes. Thank you.
Fantastic show.
Thank you.
Let me ask you about living in LA, because for a while you shared an apartment or a house with Rebel Wilson.
Oh, I still do.
Oh, you still live with Rebel?
Yeah, we still live together,
Because you met together. Did you meet on Bridesmaids?
We met on Bridesmaids, and she's stellar now. She does the Pitch Perfect films and Night at the Museum.
Well, she's always funny. I've never seen her not be good in something.
Yeah.
How are you two together as flatmates? Are you good neighbours to have? Are you considerate neighbours? Do you cook? What do you do together?
We're a bit gay. I mean, she's not gay, but I'm gay enough for both of us. And so we do sing show tunes quite loudly.
Nothing wrong with
sometimes. There's a pool and we swim in that, and she sometimes dresses as a mermaid. That's her thing.
Wow.
She's got a mermaid outfit and gets in the pool. It's quite sweet.
You sound like the greatest neighbours ever.
Yeah.
And do the neighbours enjoy seeing her in the...
No. They take no pleasure in it.
And what about the singing? Do they enjoy... They must enjoy the singing.
No, one of them threw an egg over the fence.
Wow. Oh, you live next door to Sharon Osbourne. You said it's going OK for you out there, but like anyone, you must have had your fair share of bad auditions, especially if you go in there not thinking...
No, I do all right. I basically... If people have seen me in something, they generally say, oh, do you want to come and be in this? So I sort of do episodes of sitcoms and stuff like that. But most of the time I'm writing, and I've just done a series.
Yeah.
So sometimes people have seen me in something, so they say, come and do it. I'm not good at auditioning. I think probably my worst experience auditioning was about 15 years ago, and they were casting Lord of the Rings.
Wow. Well, I would have thought you would be a natural fit for that.
No, I don't mean that. No. Hear me out. People...
Judge not, lest you be judged. No, what I meant is... You love fantasy. You love fantasy.
No, I don't. They used to do Parkinson in this studio. That was a lovely show, wasn't it? No, well, the thing is that it was for the character of Samwise Gamgee.
Oh, big role.
Big role. Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in, because I didn't get it. And the thing was, they said in the breakdown they wanted a young Mel Smith lookalike. Well, I thought, hello. Yeah. So, this is about 15 years ago. And so I very diligently, I only found out the day before, and I very diligently learnt this huge speech.
Wow.
And it's like, I haven't watched those films, but it's something like someone's in a cave and I'm holding Frodo or something because the dragon ate him or something. I don't know. I don't watch it. So I had this long speech, and... I forgot my lines. I dried on just before the last word.
Oh, no.
So I was doing this sort of long speech. Oh, no. Frodo... It sounded like Vicky Pollard, didn't it?
You did it in that accent?
Yeah, I did it in that accent.
That's a peculiar choice.
It was a terrible choice.
Whose choice was that?
Not mine.
Oh, OK.
Awful. I was like, oh, no. Frodo has been attacked by whatever creature it was and will never find the ring. What am I going to do? And then I forgot the last word. I was like, what's that word? And then I stood there for quite a while and I went... Oh, yeah. Now... It looked like I'd taken a really long dramatic pause just to really drag it out. Needless to say, I never heard from him.
Could we hear a little bit of Vicky Pollard as Samwise? Would she have done the, I've got to keep the ring from Gollum?
Sorry, this is like Gollum. It's like really weird, pervert little bloke. That's
the film I now want to see.
Yes.
That's the version I want to see.
Lord of the Mingers.
OK, let me... when did you first decide you wanted to perform, Matt? When did you think, OK, this might be for me?
Do you know, it's an interesting thing. I lost my hair when I was 6, and...
That's true, by the way. A few people there was a slight nervous laugh, but you did, because you...
Yeah.
And was that because of an accident you had when you were younger, you think? Is that
Well, we thought for years it was because of... Yeah, because I got knocked down by a car when I was 4. But actually, I've spoken to some doctors, and apparently it happened because I'm special.
A special little snowflake.
Yeah, I'm special. That's what my parents used to say. It's because you're special, that's why you got no hair. So, but I didn't want to be the bald kid. I wanted to sort of have something else about me. And then later on I was gay, so I had that. then I got fat, so it was like something else. And I'm Jewish, so yeah, no, we're kind of piling them up, you know, so...
When did you decide it was a career for you? Because even though, you know, people knew you were funny, you were doing... To actually make the leap and say, OK, this is my life, that's quite a big jump, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was doing stand-up comedy, but it was working with David Williams because I found a kindred spirit, I guess. We met in the National Youth Theatre, and I was actually working as a techie. You know, I was working in the wings, bringing props on and off, and he was one of the stars of the show. And, in fact, it was a production of The Tempest, and if you can genuinely make Shakespeare funny, you have a gift.
It's tough.
Yeah, and he was truly hilarious. And I used to watch him in rehearsals and idolise him. And we bonded over a love of Vic and Bob. So my idols were David and Vic and Bob, and then I ended up working with all of them,
wow.
so I'm lucky.
But, you know, even though you both have enjoyed success apart, there is, I think, something special when the two of you together. There really is. And even though
we make very beautiful love.
Yeah. What do you most get recognised for, of those characters from that period, or from Come Fly With Me? What are the characters people most come to? Obviously, Vicky Pollard, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose there's Vicky, Lou and Andy,
oh, yeah.
Marjorie, Fat Fighters.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I've got a little bit, and you've got a little bit at the moment, Jonathan. Cut it.
Because I'm special.
Cut it. Never mind special, how about Special K? So,
let me ask you about Pompidou. Pompidou is Matt Lucas's new comedy series. I'm thrilled to say it starts on BBC 2 at 6:30 p.m. on the 1st of March. So it's a little way off.
Next Sunday night.
It's next Sunday night, 6:30, and it's very funny, but it's more of a family kind of show than you've done before.
Yeah, well, my mum was always having a go because she said that Little Britain was too rude.
Well, she had a point. Some of it was quite rude,
she had a point, yeah. So it's for all the family. It's clean. That's why it's on early, 6:30, unlike this monk. And also, the show is in a gibberish language. So it's in a gibberish language because Little Britain plays, like, to 140 countries or something. Wow. But a lot of people watch it subtitled or dubbed, and I thought it would be nice to do something entirely in gibberish. So it's a little bit like Pingu, the kind of gibberish language.
I loved Pingu.
Yeah, it's actually genuinely my favourite TV show.
Still, I love Pingu.
Yeah. And I play this old toff called Pompidou, who is an aristocrat, lives in a giant country house, but the house is now in ruins. So he's had to move out of the house and into a really crappy caravan in the grounds. And he lives there with his dog and his butler, played by Alex McQueen. Of course, you'll know him as Neil's gay dad in The In-Betweeners.
In The In-Betweeners. Now, but of course, the dog, no disrespect for you, but I think the dog is going to be the breakout star from this.
I'm happy if it is, yeah.
When you see the dog, you'll realise why. Let's have a look.
Very naughty. Very naughty. Oh, well, that's not that day.
You see? The dog's a star. The dog is the star. Marion is the dog's name.
Marion, yeah.
You see, the dog's a star. This may sound stupid, I know, but let me just say, that isn't a real dog.
That's a real puppet.
OK.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant puppet dog.
It's a great puppet, isn't it? Yeah.
And that's the gibberish you were talking about. That's the speaking.
Yeah.
But I like the sound of that. Do you script it or you just ad-lib that?
No, I don't want to do that now. So I'll be there, I want that soda, and then I've got that. Oh, I'm all up there, and I'm going to do that.
I was going to phone...
Anybody can do it.
help then.
Yes, you're going to phone for help.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. How many have you made of those?
So I've done 6 of those.
It's going to be huge, I think. I think it's going to be huge.
Well, I just hope people enjoy it. You know, I haven't done anything for quite a while, so I'm really hoping people enjoy this.
Well, it was so lovely to have you here. I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure everyone else is. Would you mind? We're going to go to a commercial break now.
Oh, thank goodness.
Still to come, we've got Jennifer Saunders coming up. We've got Womesh Oranganathan, Paddy McGuinness. But I'd like you to... Could you go into the break for me in gibberish?
Yes, that solid day, I've got that solid day, and I'm on it, that's solid.
That sounded Welcome back. Matt Lucas is still with us, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get my next guest out. For over 2 decades, she's been at the forefront of great BAFTA-winning British comedy with, of course, French and Saunders and Ab Fab. Will you please welcome Jennifer Saunders? Hey, first of all, congratulations to Jennifer Saunders for winning Comic Relief Great British Bake Off for Comic Relief.
Thank you. I won my episode. I enjoyed it.
Did you go in hoping to win? Did you go in taking it quite seriously?
Oh, yes. And I sort of caught myself halfway through thinking, you're taking this too seriously, this is going to look terrible, especially if you lose. This is going to look terrible. And so I had to check myself and go, try and look like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just casual. I don't care. They're laughing at my cake. I don't care. But seriously wanted to win?
Yeah, really badly.
I mean, really badly.
But had you baked much before?
No, never baked anything.
What?
Really, seriously, never baked anything. And people go, well, surely you've done kids' parties and little cupcakes. No, I've never done that. I bought them from Marks and Spencer.
Wow.
But I once tried. I have scars. I have baking scars. I once tried to do like a tart, and you know, you put the pastry in, and then the tarty bit, and then when it's hot, you get it out of the oven. But the bottom of the tin came up, so the hot sort of roundy bit.
So you're wearing like a burning bracelet.
A bangle, a burning bangle.
Wow.
And you know, I'm scarred here. You probably can't see.
I can see that.
They are very big scars here.
That's a big old scar.
That's how much I wanted to keep the pie.
Right.
That's how much I was going, it's hot, I can't drop the pie, I can't drop the pie, I must keep the pie. And so this whole arm was scarred and burning.
Wow. Was the pie appreciated, though, at the end? Was it worth
No, because it went on the floor and came back up again. The other way up.
Wow, what an achievement. So the fact that you've gone there...
Amazing.
Wanting to win but not having the experience...
I think it was the vodka icing, basically.
Yeah. You did put a lot of booze in there, didn't you?
We did, and to be honest, I think they edited it very kindly for us. Because a lot of the booze went into us as well as the cake. And by the end, we were frankly a little worse for wear.
Matt, let me ask you, bring you in, because I know you weren't in the Bake Off 10. No. Are you a baker? Do you bake?
No, I'm terrible. I've once tried to make a cake, and this is me. Like, even though I've never once made a cake, the first time and only time I've tried to make a cake, I've thought, well, it says 1 egg, but like, why stop at 1? So I made this cake, and I was like, eggs are good. And so, and I made this cake, and it looked great. But when I took it out of the oven, it was just very wet. It was this really wet egg cake.
Too many eggs.
Yeah, too many eggs. So it really was just a soaking wet cake, so I didn't eat the cake.
But do you like cake?
Oh, man, I love the cake.
I don't really like cake.
I've never met a cake I didn't like. I love all cake. I mean, you know...
I like cake mix.
Lavatory cake.
I love cake mix. I like it when it's wet and you can lick the spoon. I don't like it once it's been in the oven.
I love licking spoons.
Oh, do you? Well, we must get together, Jonathan, and lick some spoons sometime.
Last time you were on the show...
Yes?
I asked you about the Ab Fab movie.
Yes, you did.
For which there is an enormous desire and appetite.
So I've heard.
And you were about to maybe commit to writing it, but you spoke about your desperate procrastination.
Yes.
Where are we in the grand scheme of things?
Well, did I also tell you that I'd had a bet with Dawn that I would have to pay her £10,000 if I didn't produce it by the end of the year? And we had a live radio show at the end of the year, so I produced a first draft by the end of the year.
Congratulations,
yeah.
our first draft.
It was...
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Was there stuff in there you liked? Is that a draft that we will see parts of going
there's some
forward?
stuff I like, some stuff I've cut out. And... Yeah, no, it'll be an ongoing process until it's actually finished.
So
Have
how
you
do
kept in those 2 women? You kept them in?
I thought they were too old.
Right.
So, here's something very exciting. I can reveal a little bit of the film with your blessing.
Yes.
It's going to be set at least partially in and on the French Riviera.
Yes.
And maybe we could even share a little bit of the script. Is that right?
Yeah, well, yes, if you really want to.
Would you like a little bit?
Can I just say, I don't know why you're doing this. I don't know why he's doing this. But, yes, and this is a little bit of a scene that I've sort of cut out, but I might put it back in.
You might put it back in. OK, so we've got Adina. Well, we have Adina right here. And we need a Patsy. Matt, I wonder if
Matsy,
I could...
yes.
Would you...
Yeah.
And so you can do it as you are, or would you...
Hey, you know, I'm happy.
OK, Matt, would you like to get more in the Patsy...
Sure, all right,
OK, because I've got here...
Oh, great.
I've got...
Thank you.
A little...
What's happening here?
And that goes forward.
Yeah.
That goes under your chin.
It's like a bear skin.
Oh,
Like
it doesn't
you're...
actually. It goes behind your head.
What, that?
Oh, no, that's very good. That's actually really good.
Yeah.
That's for Patsy.
So anyway, I've moved to Hollywood. I'm doing films. That's me, yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
They work. OK, if you blow them out, they...
They do nothing.
They're not.
Thank you. Thank God it's big writing because I haven't got my glasses.
OK,
Thank you.
So this is a special sneak preview of the absolutely fabulous movie coming to a cinema near you in about 2025, I imagine.
We're doing this.
And let's have the music to get us
Don't be
going.
optimistic. Darling, is there anyone here?
Darling, nobody, sweetie.
What, just a crowd of nobodies?
You're not a nobody, Eds.
Well, you're a nobody if no one knows who you are.
Well, I know who you are.
You don't count.
There we go.
I'm not giving away any jokes.
That's a very good joke.
Well, no, but if I've written any proper jokes, I'm not giving away.
And that would be about a month that would have taken, I imagine, to write?
You're being optimistic. I think possibly longer.
I'm tempted to leave the wig on you, Matt.
Oh, it's actually really good.
Yeah.
No, let's take it off yourself.
There you go.
There we go.
Let me take that. OK, we'll take that. Let me ask you about you and Aid, because you were together you were pretty young when you got together.
We were 26.
Yeah, and I mean, it's lasted a long time. In show business, that's a long
That is,
relationship.
yeah. It's nearly 30
When did you
years.
first know he was the one for you?
Probably about 5 years into knowing him.
Wow, that's quite a long time.
Well, it is because we were working together.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all had different relationships. And if you're working in a close group, it can be a little bit odd to kind of...
To pair off.
To pair off. And we were a bit embarrassed at first, too. We wouldn't tell people, you know, and we'd book into hotels in separate rooms if we were filming and stuff. Stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And it was actually Dawn always thought it would happen anyway. She always thought I had a thing for him.
So she knew.
Before I knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Rick a little bit, Rick Mail, who so sadly died last year, and that was such a shock to even those of us who didn't know him well, but of course you were about as close as someone could be.
Well, yeah, it was absolutely tragic. I mean, and it was terribly shocking because he was always so alive and such a, you know, big personality. It's absolutely terrible.
Did you guys get together? Did you have like an evening of remembering him together as a group, the comic strip guys?
We had the most extraordinary funeral organised by his wife Barbara, and it was a fantastic event.
And extraordinary
really
in what way? How was it
extraordinary? In that it was just so joyful, actually. You know, incredibly sad, but at the same time, immensely joyful and funny and wonderful.
Let's go back to this evening a little bit because you mentioned earlier on Paddy's out there, of course, and Paddy is very much a matchmaker.
Naughty Paddy.
Naughty Paddy. I'm hoping now he's got tea in a pint glass.
Oh, for God's sake.
If you were
Yeah.
not with Aid, okay, if you were single again, how do you think you deal with the dating market? Are you familiar with Tinder, the dating app where you
Do you
can
know,
go?
someone
do
was
it.
just... Do
Really?
you?
Yeah, I do it. I love it, yeah. It's like a game, though, isn't it? Left, right, left, right. And then sometimes I go, hello, and then they go, you're not Matt Lucas. I go, I don't know what to say. So then that's... So it doesn't get me very far.
You've been on dates?
I've been on dates, yeah.
And how have they gone? Have they gone well?
They're all right, yeah. People have been very nice, yeah. I've no shenanigans, just nice, proper, old-fashioned dates. Because the thing about Tinder, interestingly, Tinder in the straight community is like, let's cop off. But in the gay community, there's this thing called Grindr, which I tried for a bit, but I didn't really like it, because that really was just like meeting people for sex, which is nice, but it's not very good. Yeah. You know, in the long run, it screws with you a bit. So Tinder is about having dates, going on dates. So if you see me on there, do say hello.
I was hopeless at dating. I hated dating. And it's probably why I married someone I already knew, because I wouldn't have to go on horrible dates. I used to hate it, and boys go, oh, do you want to go out with me? And I was always just thinking, I've got to be nice, so I'll say, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll go out with you. And you'd sort of go, oh, God, why did I say yes? And then, you know, you'd have the awful snog. Yes, good night. Good night, nice to meet you. Oh. And I used to hate dating. And even actually when I started going out with Aid, he says, you're the only person I know who can go out to a restaurant with someone and be completely silent. It took him a long time to actually be comfortable with the silence. So... I'm not a good date.
You know, I was talking to Matt about being part of a double act.
Yes.
And, of course, you were part of a double act for many, many years.
I was, yes.
Do you miss being that? Do you miss working with Dawn?
Yeah, I do, actually.
And I know you see her still, but I mean...
Yeah, I do miss it. I think we both miss it, actually.
But, you know, you could get back together. You could do something.
I mean,
you still
we're thinking of doing stuff together, actually. Yeah, we are.
Would you do... I guess you wouldn't do a big tour together again, because you sort of...
No, but don't ever, you know, count that out, to be honest, you know. Who knows?
I don't know whether you felt that way at the time, but you were both sort of trailblazers in a way, because comedy was quite masculine.
Yeah.
And that was a really kind of testosterone-fuelled environment you were in there.
Yes, we had bosoms.
Yeah. But you were right out there, and now there's a lot of talk about, and now there seems to be, you know, it's much more common to see funny women on TV now than it was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But in no small part, I would have thought, thanks to you.
My daughter's in your show.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She's really good, yeah. She's great.
Thank you. Paid him.
No.
No.
She's amazing.
No, she's good.
She's got something. I mean, you can really see that she came from you and Adrian, because you can't take your eyes off her. I've had to cut her out of scenes. She's too good. She's too good.
Oh.
Let's
have a look at... well, there's so many French and Saunders moments I could choose, which I adore. So many great characters I love. I'm not sure which one. I think I'll go with the two old country ladies you did.
Oh, yeah.
The very no-nonsense ladies.
Slowly turning into.
Well, you're out in the countryside, and you are quite practical, aren't you? You're one of those sort of practical...
Yeah, can fix anything with a piece of baler twine. That's me. That's what I like to think.
And this, of course, you were wearing prosthetics. We should establish that.
Thank you.
You pioneered those prosthetics. I mean, when you appeared as Bros, characters like that, I had never seen anything like it. It was extraordinary.
So you both have spent quite a lot of your comedy career getting rubbered up. Is that the phrase?
Yeah, well, I'll come and do bubbles in your Ab Fab film if you want.
Oh, my God.
I'll put that back on. Yeah. The thing about that Bubbles outfit was because I once tried to... Because I needed to have a wee, but I couldn't reach my... so they gave me a funnel to shove in. But I couldn't really see where to put things, and I was having a wee, and then after about 10 seconds, I realised that the funnel was going back inside the suit.
Oh!
Yeah, it was no fun. It was no fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but it was no fun.
Okay, here we go. This is from 1990.
Oh, Christ.
I was sitting on the shooting stick after that. Top of the shooting stick came off, the whole bloody stick went up my jacksie. They all wanted me to get down to hospital. I said, stop making such a bloody fuss and nonsense about nothing. Let nature take its course. The bloody thing will be out by supper time and it...
Blood and sand!
What's the matter?
Blood and sand! I cut my finger.
What, completely off?
No, it's just sort of dangling.
Bloody chap.
No, that's a lot of fuss and nonsense. Let's cut it off altogether and be done with it. There we are. Here we are, Docs. Come on.
What about Boozer? She hasn't had one.
What, one each of it?
Yes.
Go.
Yes.
Right, you're a little soft. Come on.
So good. The brilliant French and Saunders, ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Saunders. Thank you, Jen. That was fabulous. Thank you so much. You're going to both stick around, I hope, because after the break we have Ramesh Ranganathan here and Paddy McGuinness. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Lucas and Jennifer Saunders are still right here, ladies and gentlemen, but let's get my next guest out. He's one of our best new stand-up comedians. Will you please go crazy for Ramesh Ranganathan? Come on out, Ramesh. Ramesh, so excited to have you here. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. We actually share the same name.
Do we?
Well, Ramesh is my middle name. My first name is actually Jonathan.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. I registered Jonathan Ramesh,
Right.
and I said to my dad, you know, why did you do this? And he says, like, to help you when you're growing up in the country, sort of, you know, with job applications and stuff like that, you don't get discriminated against if your name's Jonathan, right? I was thinking, how is that going to work? Like, just sort of the guy looks at the form and goes, Jonathan Ranganathan. Must be a white guy. You know, and then what would happen at the interview is the next question, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you Jonathan Ranganathan? Yeah. What's going on here? Oh, sorry, I've been on holiday. For ages.
Well, speaking about ages, that must have taken a while to grow that fabulous beard that you're sporting there.
Yeah.
And this is the thing now, all the young men seem to have beards.
Yeah, it's the problem is that I don't get it trimmed enough, and so sometimes it looks sort of stylish and I'm hipster, and sometimes it looks like I've just been found on a boat, you know.
Yeah.
And it's less of a decision, more hello, yes, I've been locked up for 10 years, glad to be out.
Now, I thought before you came on, and I'd only met you briefly at the Comedy Awards.
Yeah.
And Bob Mortimer has been telling me how funny you are. And that's always a good indication, because Bob was a big champion of yours early on, and I trust his judgment very much. But I thought you were an Indian comedian. I thought your parents were Indian, but you're not Indian. Your lineage is not Indian, is it?
No, I'm originally Sri Lankan. Big up the Home Office.
Wow.
Thank you so much for...
What are the chances of that happening?
That is the whole of my fan club. They obviously got the email. My mum actually, she doesn't think I'm a proper Sri Lankan. Like, she calls me a coconut. Like, do you know? Have you heard this?
Coconut is a phrase of. It's not a very nice phrase.
No, it's brown on the outside, white on the inside. My mum sort of goes, "You're coconut, you're coconut," and the reason
is it okay you doing the accent? I'm not sure.
I think I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Yeah. You suddenly went, oh, so does she sound like this, mate?
Well,
and then started doing
so
the
I
wobblehead.
shouldn't do it.
I mean, if you want the... I mean, I could give you permission.
Well, what is the Sri Lankan accent? I'm not familiar with it particularly.
Well, I just nailed it, mate.
Well,
I didn't know if you
didn't do that much, of it. You did one word repeatedly.
Basically, but the thing is that I can't speak my mother tongue, you know, because my mum and dad, they didn't speak to me like that.
So you weren't raised speaking that language?
No, but now, the problem is because I can't speak it, that's why my mum calls me a coconut, because I can't speak it, and she goes to me, why don't you know? Why didn't you teach me? Do you know that? And then, like, we'll go to, like, a Sri Lankan party or something with those guys,
yeah.
and she'll slag me off, she'll slate me to her Sri Lankan friends
in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, she'll go, coconut, what is that? And I'm like, no.
That's bad. That's hard.
And then I say to Mum, I sort of know what you're saying. And then she'll try and code it up. You know, like, Baba, bounty, whatever. I know what a bounty is. All right, Mum.
Making it worse, if anything.
Exactly, yeah.
The code isn't working.
Kinder surprise. OK, Mum. You've nailed it. Well done.
Now, I don't know whether your parents raised you this way, but you are a vegan.
It's nothing to do with my parents. It's just something I wanted to do. You know, I was vegetarian for ages, and a few years ago I said, you know, I wanted to become vegan. And I said to my wife, I'm thinking about becoming vegan. She said to me, you know, well, you can't, dickhead. Like she said, nobody is going to invite us round for dinner if you're going to do that.
It's tough cooking for the vegans, and it's tough.
It's basically hummus, isn't it? Is it?
The thing is, you know, sometimes I wish I wasn't told. It happened to me. I was at a wedding. I was eating onion bhajis, enjoying... Do you like an onion bhaji?
Man, look at me. Do you think I do not like an onion bhaji?
You like an onion bhaji?
Love it.
Love
One
an
of my
onion
5
bhaji.
a day, an onion bhaji.
Yeah. So I was smashing through some onion bhajis, and I just thought, do you know what? These are so good. Why are people eating meat? I love myself a bhaji. I said to my mate, aren't these onion bhajis amazing? He said, yes, mate, but they are lamb pakoras. And I thought, I've done it now, so I had another 3. And the other thing, you know, the big issue is pizza.
Yeah.
You know, you can't...
Oh.
Pizza is...
I mean, pizza.
How can you survive without these things?
This is what I've got, you know, this is what... As soon as you say to someone you're a vegan, what do you have? Just water, get in bread. Absolute nightmare, I can't believe... You know what I've got? Compassion. All right, guys? But it is difficult. But, like, you know, like, I ordered a pizza.
Yeah.
You can eat pizza... You can ask them, I don't want... You can say to them, I don't want cheese. And then they go... They look at you like... A pizza without cheese is like trying to get someone to accept Scottish money. You know, like... It's, can I have a pizza without cheese? Sorry, it sounded like you said without cheese. Is that really what you want? You know, and then it's difficult.
You could go to McDonald's and just have the bun, couldn't you? that would... What a meal
This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? I'd go to his house for dinner. Got you a bun. Just put some citrus fruits in it. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, let's move on to this. Let me ask you about your home life, because you're a father of 2, is that right?
3, actually.
You've got 3. Well, congratulations on
Thank you
sneaking
very much.
another one
Well,
past
I
me.
don't actually know if I want a 3rd child. I know we've had the child, but it's. I just think 3 is a lot.
So 3 children. Are you a hands-on father? What do you do at home?
I'm a really hands-on father.
Good,
You know, I try to be. Not with the 3rd one. He's not contributing a lot.
Yeah.
At this stage. The oldest one, you know, he's learning to read.
Yeah.
And
How old is he now?
He's 5.
Okay.
He's learning to read, and I'm helping him do that. It is a rewarding thing to do the first time you do it. After that, it's one of the most annoying, frustrating, want to punch myself in the balls, just annoying activity you can do. And the reason is that they do not care about making sense. You know, like he'll read all the little words, no problem at all. If and but, he'll give you those all day. Right?
those.
Get to a long word, instead of trying, right? He just looks at the picture and throws something random in from there without any regard for what effect that has on the rest of the sentence. And I'm supposed to not get angry. Right? I'm supposed to not get angry when he goes, Jack went strawberry? How could that be what it said, mate? How could it be Jack went strawberry? How is that the most likely thing that said? What would that even mean? What would it mean, Jack going strawberry? No, you tell me, because you said it. I'll tell you what, you finish what it said, you go strawberry now. Go on, go strawberry.
You're on tour right now. We're actually on tour. What's the name of your tour?
The show is called Rome Wasn't Built in a Day.
So Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a play on words, of course.
Yeah.
So you know that. Do you always pun on your name in your tours and your DVDs and things?
Well, last one was called Rom-Com.
Okay.
The thing is, I always go for the first name, because Ranganathan doesn't really play like pun-wise.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking I could do When in Rom.
When in Rome you could do?
Last Days of Rom.
Yeah. How about Romosexual?
Romosexual? Yeah.
Rum and Coke.
Rum and Coke.
They do rom. They do rom.
Or just wrong.
Hey, here's one for you.
How is that? He said rom, and that nearly got applause.
Yeah.
I actually did one.
Okay, one final thing, and am I right in thinking that you were a rap fan and you used to rap a bit yourself? Is this correct?
That is correct.
Just say no now.
No, I did. I used to.
He's proud of this.
Of course, I'm proud of it. I was a hip hop artist.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your hip hop name? Did you have a name?
Ranger. That's not actually my full name. My full name was Ranger the Lazy-Eyed Assassin. That was my. And I put out a few mixtapes.
Really?
I think the last one that we did sold like 15 copies in Horsham.
Oh, okay.
And I used to do rap battles and stuff like that.
We need to hear, obviously, a tiny bit of your rap stylings. You have to.
I'll do the bass.
You have to disrespect the other person. Am I right? You have to denigrate them in some way.
Yeah.
Like, I am the best. You're not the best. That's kind of the way it works, isn't it? But a bit more than that. I'm really good. You're not so good. But then you colour that up, don't you?
Yeah. You basically do sort of a generic sort of. You've got to big yourself up. So I'd go like, you know, I bring the butter, you know this ain't the margarine. I'm quick to clean up the scene like my name was MC Winderleen. I'm in your face like the mace up from the canister. My lyrics bring the pain like testicles hitting on banisters.
Wow.
When you're skipping stairs, to battle this ain't fair. You're lyrically impaired, plus your knees are knocking cause you're scared. When it comes to rapping, I am the boss, and I couldn't give a shit about Jonathan Ross.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, I'm glad we're on the same team. well, that's told me. Ladies and gentlemen, will you join me in saying thank you to a very funny man, Mr. Womash Ranganathan? Thank you, Womash. That was great. Great. All right, Dungo Way, one of my favourite TV personalities and comedians is here right now, Mr. Paddy McGuinness. See you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Matt's here, Jennifer's here, Womash is still here, but let's get my final guest out. He's a one-man dating machine on Take Me Out, and he's one of the stars of the all-conquering Phoenix Nights. Here he is, the one and only Paddy McGuinness. I'm glad you're getting up to speed here this evening. Paddy McGuinness. Paddy, great to have you here. Ron was just talking about his children, of course, and you're a father of two. You've got twins, haven't you?
Yeah, twins, Leo and Penelope.
How old are they now?
They're fantastic, 19 months old.
Wow.
But with Ramesh, really, I'm kind of over it.
Really?
To be honest. There's a nursery rhyme that says, sugar and spice and all things nice, that's what little girls are made of. That's a crock of shit. Because there's no sugar in changing a nappy. There's spice, the same spices that are in a Vindaloo. I am so far over that, it's untrue. And my wife, the other night, you'll know, changing nappies and stuff, changed the dirty nappy, put it in a nappy bag, but left it in the front room all night with underfloor heating on.
Wow.
Oh, dear God.
Wow.
That was baked to perfection in the morning. Yeah, not nice.
But there must be things about it you're loving.
There must be something.
Because you're the number one. You're kind of bringing people together. Obviously, it's a game show, but the point of Take Me Out is, and I know this has happened, people might wind up in a relationship and they might wind up staying together and getting kids.
Yeah. Well, what's lovely about Take Me Out is, we've had 2 weddings and we've got 4 engagements currently as we sat here, and 2 children born from the show. Wow. So it's like, we've only been on 5 years. It's the most successful dating British show ever for that kind of thing.
Yeah. When you
weddings.
Say, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Nothing else. But what you like.
Okay. And you still love doing it. I mean, I get the sense that you have a
of course I do. I love doing it. I was talking to someone today about it. The thing what I love about the show is it's 80% ad-libbed.
Yeah.
And, like Ramesh, when you're on stage and you're gigging and stuff like that, anything can happen sometimes, so you've got to be kind of have your wits about you. And I like that. Keeps you on your toes.
Well, you're very fast with them, and especially when things happen you don't expect. The thing that happened recently, and this wasn't a setup, because I'm sure you've seen the show, but there were 30 young women out there, and then one guy comes down.
Yeah.
And recently you had the guy, and it turned out that one of the women he knew previously.
Yeah, we had a lad come out the other week, and his ex-girlfriend was one of the girls. And it was awkward. Orcs, as the kids say. But what happened was, he came out and introduced himself. Nicky was called, and we were doing the rounds. We were on to round 2, and then I went to this girl, Lucy, and she said, "Hi, Nicky," and I went, "Oh, she's calling you Nicky?" And she went, "Yeah." He said, "Because that's my ex-boyfriend." Wow. But the thing was, I said to the lad, "When were you going to mention that?" And he was so kind of terrified when he came out that she was actually there, because he didn't have any idea. He kind of froze, But it's... they went on a date and everything else, and we're all keeping our fingers crossed for him, but I don't think it kind of...
So he picked his ex at the end when he got a date?
Yeah, he did, yeah. It turns out now, out of fear.
Yeah. I get that, Matt, you're single at the moment. Would you go on if it was either a celebrity version or an LGBTQ version?
Not a chance. I'll watch some other posts, I'd go on it, yeah. I watch it with pleasure. It's a fantastic show.
Matt, if you were to go on, though, there's a bit when he goes, "Now, young fella, young..." No, you don't say that.
Why do you do that every time?
Young fella.
It's like you give me that. He's a northerner. Give him a pint with tea in it.
But, Matt, when you go on, he gets the young man out and he says, "Hello, young man. Would you like to..."
Hello, young man.
Show us your special skill. They have to show their special skill to the...
Yes, they do.
You know, that's when you let the dog see the bone. That's that bit.
Yeah.
So what would your special skill be if you went on it? If he said to you, "Let the
skill?
dog see the bone," what skill would it be?
I've got special skills. One is this.
In slow motion.
Yeah.
Here we go. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I can say...
do that, but with my other cheek.
OK, so here's the very exciting thing. I know Take Me Out's exciting, but you just finished, and I never knew you'd go back doing this, but you've just finished doing a very special one of Phoenix Nights Live. But now, how did that come about?
This is true. I woke up this one morning and with like a really strong yearning to do something really big for charity. So I went round to Peter's, he lives around the back of me, and I went round this day for a brew. And I was saying, I said, you know, I want to do something really, make a lot of money. And we were just chatting about it, and I went home, and he rang me up about 2 days later. He said, "I've been thinking what you're saying, and what about doing Phoenix Nights Live?" So we did it, and we put 2 nights on sale at the Manchester Arena, and they sold out kind of within an hour. And we ended up doing...
You wrote a new show for this?
Yeah, we did 16 nights, and they all sold out, 14,000 people a night. And we've kind of... I've not got the exact figure. I think they'll reveal it on Comic Relief, but it'll be around about the £5 million mark.
Wow, that's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful thing. What a difference.
Yeah. You know, it was a real joy to be a part
But to
of.
play to that sort of crowd doing that, because, of course, Little Britain was a huge success on tour, and, of course, you've done arenas with Dawn, of course, and Ramesh, you... But let me ask you, Paddy... Well, that will come.
Don't applaud that.
But what happened... Here's the thing. Something quite extraordinary happened, which could have been tragic and awful. Ted Robbins, who's in it, he actually had a heart attack on stage.
Did. So the first night of the tour, Ted Robbins, who plays Den Perry, collapsed on stage, and I was with Peter at the time when it happened. We were watching Ted on the screen, and he'd just got on stage, and I noticed his hands shaking. I thought, you know, it's a lot of people, he's nervous, and he just collapsed, and it was like really... When you hear about that, like, for instance, it happened to Tommy Cooper and Leonard Rossiter and what have you, and you hear about it, but when you see it, it's horrendous. So he collapsed and he actually died. His heart stopped on stage. Now, talk about luck. Richard Curtis was in the audience that night, and there was a guy at the side of Richard Curtis, no connection, who just happened to be a heart specialist. And he turned around to Richard and said, "Can I go on stage?" Because he knew instantly what it was. And he went on stage and basically got to work on Ted. And if he hadn't have done that, he'd have been dead. That had been it.
So he brought him back?
So he worked on him on stage. I mean, Ted's a big bloke. The guy actually broke 8 of his ribs and his sternum, getting him back. You know, he only needs to break one. He didn't like his act. But so this is true. So all that happened, really traumatic. They whisked Ted off to the hospital, right, and he had an oxygen mask on, and his wife told us this, and as he came round in the hospital, he took the oxygen mask off and went, "Ta-da!" So, you know, there he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Mr. Paddy McGuinness.
Thank you.
And thank you also to all my guests tonight. Next week on the show we have Martin Kroons, Sigourney Weaver, Thierry Henry and Tracy Emin, and we'll be joined by the fabulous Kanye West. So see you next time. Good night, everybody.